Waking up early on holiday isn't my idea of fun, but on my second day in Kyoto, I woke up early to get a special train down to Nara to go and visit Nara Park. I joined the commuters to get the metro down to Kyoto Station. During my time in this region, I wanted to travel on some of the more specialty trains that are on offer, so I decided to take the Kintetsu Railway Vista car down to Nara. To ride this train, you need a regular ticket as well as booking a specific seat on this train, as it's reservations only. The Vista car features this double-decker arrangement with a lower sort of booth seating area for 3 to 5 people, and then a 2-2 arrangement on the upper floor with wonderful curved windows so you can see the beautiful vista. There are some very strange mascots in display cases on the staircase as well. I found the seats to be really comfortable for quite a short trip down to Nara. I chose to sit on the left-hand side so I could see the beautiful mountains and just enjoy the wonderful scenery. On this side, as you come into Kintetsu Nara Station, you'll also see the former Imperial Palace, where the former audience hall was reconstructed in 2010. I really love how there's just deer theming everywhere as soon as you get into the station, including the very unique mascot. I arrived around 9:30 a.m, so it was quite quiet. And you don't have to walk far to see the famous bowing deer of Nara Park. I decided not to buy any crackers for them because I have a really nice coat and I didn't really fancy having any deer biting my coat because they wanted more crackers. So I just observed other people feeding them and watched them with the beautiful autumn leaves and the sunshine through the trees. It was just really, really special moment to see these wonderful deer. They're really adorable, but you have to remember that they're wild animals and they can get a little bit aggressive when there's food around. It's best not to touch them, really. I continued on my way to go and visit my first shrine. My first stop was Himuro Shrine, and this shrine honours the ice god. They had this lovely little pond out the front, and again, there were no crowds here at all. As you can see, it was just really so lovely and quiet. After paying my respects at the shrine, I went to collect a goshuin, and here they do something quite unique in that when they finish writing the goshuin, they strike a flint over the paper, which is a really cool experience. After collecting that goshuin, I headed out and continued walking further into Nara Park to head to Todai-ji Temple. Around Todai-ji, the crowds sort of pick up a little bit more, and everyone was just enjoying seeing the deer and the amazing autumn leaves against the bright blue sky. I really do recommend visiting in December because it rarely rained while I was visiting. The Todai-ji Temple is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and a Japanese national treasure. It's known for its great Buddha hall, It's had some reconstruction and renovation over the years, so it's actually had steel and concrete introduced to support the huge roof, so that's why it's no longer one of the biggest solely wooden buildings. And in the Great Buddha Hall, you can see the bronze Buddha, which is 15 meters tall and weighs 500 tons. I spent a bit of time in this space walking around and just admiring the beauty of the Buddha and the incredible vast structure of the hall. It was also really interesting to see the back of the Buddha and how it is supported. As you make your way around the Buddha, there are actually some free commemorative stamps that you can collect. So if, like me, you like to collect eki stamps and you have a little notebook on you, I would recommend stopping here and collecting the stamps. And also on the way out of the Great Buddha Hall is where you can collect the Todai-ji temple goshuin, or one of them. I believe there are maybe 10 goshuin that you can collect all around the complex, but I only had time to collect this one. You do have to pay to come into the Great Buddha Hall area, and if you haven't been here before, I would recommend doing it at least once. These deer were really cute until I realised that they thought I had food, and so I had to run away from them. I started walking west because there were a couple more shrines that I wanted to visit, and I spotted this huge golden thing out of the corner of my eye. And I found out that it is the Todai-ji Sorin, and a Sorin is the spire that sits on the top of a pagoda, and this one was reconstructed for the 1970 Expo in Osaka. Heading through this huge torii gate, I continue to just enjoy the sights and the sounds of Nara Park on my way to the next shrine. I headed up these steps towards the Tamukeyama Hachimangu shrine. And this shrine is dedicated to Hachiman, which is the kami for archery and war. And it's also dedicated to the kami of 3 emperors and 1 empress enshrined here, and it was established in 749. I read that it's usually quite quiet here, and that is exactly why I visited, and I collected the goshuin here as well. And so I was on my way again to try and find another shrine. It was nice to spot deer in quieter areas where there weren't as many tourists. I wonder if this deer runs the knife shop. If anything, he's just blocking the entrance. Along this row of shops I also spotted a Sumiko Gurashi gacha machine which had these little pin badges which had Nara theming. And I got the one that I wanted. The colours of the autumn foliage were just breathtaking. Everywhere you look, you just had to stop and admire the beauty of nature. And this is a popular spot because there's a place to get some food. And so there were a lot of people out with their big cameras taking pictures of the deer and the leaves. Here we see a lot of lanterns lining the way as I'm heading towards a shrine that is known for their lanterns. I have no food for you, I'm sorry. And finally I reached the Kasugataisha shrine. This shrine was established in 768 and is the shrine of the Fujiwara family. It's been rebuilt several times, but it's most known for the 3,000 lanterns that have been donated by the 3,000 auxiliary shrines. You do pay a fee to come in and see the grounds with the lanterns. The shrine is very well maintained, and every 20 years there is a special ceremony called the Shikinen Zotai ceremony where they repair the buildings and refresh everything. There was a special darkened room where you could experience what it would be like to see the lanterns at night, and the room was lined with mirrors, so you could sort of imagine them stretching out into infinity, which was just so lovely to experience. I'm really glad that I took the time to come out and visit this shrine, as it felt like a very special experience. And I of course collected a goshuin here as well to mark my visit. I had planned to visit a few more shrines and temples, but you have to know your limits, and at this point I was happy to have seen so many shrines and temples and the deer, but I felt like it was time to head for lunch. I headed to a nearby bus stop, and I only had to wait about 10 minutes before the bus came along, and I headed back towards Nara Station. I then walked to ROKUMEI Coffee to have a light lunch. I got their set of French toast croissant with a little cake and an apple juice. At this time, not many people were sitting in, a lot of people were getting takeaway coffee. I then headed to the JR Nara station to go back to Kyoto, and I was looking around for a long time for the station stamp, and it's actually inside the ticket line. So in this area they tend to be inside the ticket gate. I had to wait about 20 minutes for my train, so I did also get an extra snack because that little croissant lunch was just not enough for me. I just got a regular JR train back to Kyoto. And I made sure to sit on the opposite side to where I had been before. It doesn't travel along the exact same tracks as the Nara line, but I wanted to make sure that I was getting a different view on my way back. Coming into Kyoto Station, I made sure to look inside the ticket gate to find the Eki stamp, and I found it here by the west exit. To save my legs, I then decided to get a bus to take me to yet another temple, but this one was special. And this was a very specific temple that I wanted to visit, and they have quite short opening hours, so if you want to visit and collect the goshuin here, I would recommend checking their website. It's Hōzō-ji temple, and it features some unique artworks which belong to the temple, including a scene by Ito Jakuchi, who was a painter in the 1700s, and this was where his family were interred. He left behind a skull painting, which is featured in the goshuin, and I also got a second handwritten goshuin as well. I headed back to my hotel for a much needed rest. They have a lot of little amenities that you can grab on the way up to your room, including pyjamas, toothbrushes, etc. They also have this lovely shared area with seating and a kitchen where you can chill out and meet other people if you like to do that. I decided to relax for a bit and then leave my camera behind in the hotel just to do a bit of shopping and get some dinner and just to rest up before another day in Kyoto tomorrow. So I hope to see you there.